Shalom and welcome to another session of our series called Faith Journeys with God in the Land. Today we're walking through the Zin Desert. So we're walking through this canyon called the Zin. It's mentioned in the Bible at least two times, at least the two times I want to refer to, Numbers 13 and Numbers 20. Now already we saw the canyon from above, but now we're in and down through, walking down through this canyon. And you can see around me how beautiful it is. In fact, 2 weeks ago there was a flash flood that came through here, and that must have been amazing to see. There's always water here through the Zin, this part of the canyon, even in the summer. In fact, we're walking to the waterfalls now, and yet we can connect with, as I mentioned, at least two references that are occurring in Numbers 13 and Numbers 20. So the first one, Numbers 13, Moses sends out 12 spies. They start a little further south than here in the desert of Paran. And they make their way through the Zin Desert and up through the hill country of Judah. Their task was to explore the land. And the questions that Moses asked them was find out if the soil is good or not, if the cities are fortified or not, just exploring the uniqueness of the land of Canaan. And of course, there were 12 spies, and perhaps you are aware that 10 of them came back with a very negative report, but 2 of them, that would be Joshua and Caleb, came back with a very positive report. That's the first story. We'll come back to it in just a moment. But the second story is from Numbers chapter 20. And Numbers 20 tells us about this guy named Moses and Aaron, who were, again, responsible for the community called the Israelites. And they were somewhere in the Zin, and they are given the responsibility to find water. Now you can see all these different rock strata around me. Here on the sides of the cliff, the canyon cliff, I should say. And pretty much everyone knew that if you struck the right pocket of stone, the strata of rock, you could actually access water that way. In fact, the Bedouin today in the Sinai know exactly how to do this. In the middle of a dry and dusty place, they know what rock to hit, and water comes out of it. It's really quite amazing. So everyone and their brother knew that all you needed to do is strike the rock, and yet God instructed Moshe to speak to the rock, and he does not. He strikes it not once but twice, and God is not pleased. That happens somewhere here in the desert. And yet, as we talk about and go back to the Numbers 13 story, which I would like to focus upon, these 12 spies, they were given the task of exploring the land. And again, 10 of them came back with oh no, we better not go. The Canaanites are there. And yet 2 of them looked at the land. They knew the challenges, and yet they still gave a positive report. Could it be that their faith journey with God was one where they trusted God? God was giving them the land as promised, of course, to Abraham way back. and yet they knew that there was potential in the land. I don't know about you, but sometimes I encounter difficulties in my life, in my walk of faith, where I look at what's ahead of me. We look at this desert, for instance, and see a very challenging place. Of course, the spies had to come up through here and all the way up to the hill country, and then go back and give a report. Here's the waterfall, by the way. But these two spies especially, I love their attitude and their perspective, because I think it was their faith that allowed them to give a positive report. They saw the potential. They saw what God really had already promised to them, and they were simply willing to be a part of fulfilling that. And that's sort of how it works with our lives. We encounter some difficulties sometimes, maybe even some unknown pathways and journeys in our walk of faith, and yet even though we don't know maybe where we're going, maybe we're stepping out in faith and perhaps even wondering if God is a part of it, and yet we know that we can trust God, and He walks with us. He never leaves us nor forsakes us. Those were the words that Moses, of course, would share with Joshua before Joshua was handed the baton of leadership. So wherever you are in your journey of faith, if you're experiencing unknown places and going to places or experiencing life where you're not sure what to expect, know that God is with you, He walks with you, and He will strengthen and encourage you in your faith journey with Him. So these are the words of encouragement that we share from the bottom of the Zin Canyon here in southern Israel. So until next time, Shalom.